All right, here is section 5, applications of percents. So today we're going to talk about applying this to situations with money. So first let's talk about pushy salespeople. So a commission is a fee that's paid to a person who makes a sale. So if you've ever shopped at the store The Buckle in the Bay Park Square Mall, you'll find that those people are really pushy trying to get you to buy things. And that's because they work on commission. So what that means is they earn a commission rate, and that's a percent of their selling price. So the more money that you purchase in clothes, the more money they make, okay? So car salesmen work on commission, people who sell houses work on commission. So the higher the sale, the more money they make, and that's why they tend to be a little bit more pushy. Okay, so here's an example down here. It says a real estate agent is paid a monthly salary of $900 plus commission. Last month, he sold one condominium, which is condo for short, for $65,000, earning a 4% commission on the sale. How much was his commission, and what was his total pay last month? Okay, so first of all, we need to find his commission amount. So he's earning a 4% commission on the sales. So it's 4% of the sale price of the condominium. Okay, so here that's where they're telling you here it's the commission rate times the sales. Percent of the sales is equals his commission amount. So it's 4% of $65,000. So first of all, we have to change that 4% to a decimal. And if we move that decimal point 2 to the left, we're going to get that 0.04 there, okay? So 4% times 65,000 is the same as 0.04 times 65,000. Okay, so he's going to earn $2,600 off of that sale. So that's his commission. So he's going to earn a commission of $2,600 on the sale. But his total pay is not just that amount, because it says he also gets a monthly salary of $900 plus that commission. So he had $2,600 that was his commission, plus we have to add on that $900 he makes just for working at this real estate company. Okay, so if you add those together, you end up with $3,500. Whoa, that's too many zeros. $35,000 in a month, I would definitely work as a real estate agent too. All right, so $3,500, so $2,600 in commission plus his $900 salary. His total pay for that month was $3,500. All right, the next page says if the sales tax rate is 6.75%, how much tax would Adrian pay if he bought 2 CDs at $16.99 each and 1 DVD for $36.29? Okay, so first of all, let's figure out the total amount before the sales tax. So 2 CDs at $16.99. If I multiply 2 times $16.99, that's $33.98 for the CDs and 1 DVD for $36.29. Kind of funny now because hardly anybody buys CDs and DVDs anymore since music and videos are streaming. So the total price, if we add those together, is going to be $70.27. Okay, that's the price before the tax. So what we have to do is we have to figure out what is 6.75% of this amount. Again, of means multiply. And the reason why it's not 6.75% is we always have to change that percent to a decimal first. And we do that by moving the decimal point 2 to the right. So if it was 6.75%, 2 spots to the right ends up being 0.0675. Okay? All right, so if we multiply those, we end up with this amount. Now, normally money is 2 decimal places, 74 cents. This 3 is going to keep the 4 a 4, so we're going to round that to $4.74 in sales tax. Okay, so that's the sales tax, and if we look at the question, it says how much tax would he pay? So it doesn't ask his total amount. If we wanted to know the total amount, we would have to add on the subtotal, which is the amount before tax plus the sales tax. But this question only asks how much tax are we going to be paying. Okay, here we have Anna earns $1,500 monthly. Of that, $114.75 is withheld for Social Security and Medicare. What percent of Anna's earnings are withheld for Social Security and Medicare? So we're trying to figure out what percent of her $1,500, okay, she earns $1,500, what percent of 1,500 is 114.75? Okay, and there's two ways that we can do this. I'm going to show you the way that the book kind of outlines this, and then I'm going to show you my method, which I think is a little bit faster. So we could solve this by proportion, okay? What percent, when we say what percent, we don't know what the value is, so that's going to be our variable n. Okay, so that's n. We can solve this by proportion. Now, percents are always out of 100. 100 is a whole percent. So when we're trying to figure out a percent, we can write n over 100. And then over here, we always do the part over the whole. Okay, so the same thing over here, part over the whole. Okay, n is a part of 100%, right? The percentage amount is always out of a whole percent is 100%. And over here, it's 114.75 out of her whole monthly earnings, which is $1,500. Okay, and then from there, we can actually use cross multiplication to solve this proportion, which we did back in chapter 4. Okay, so now if I cross multiply here, I'm going to have n times the 1,500. That's the left side of this proportion. And then the other side, I'm going to be multiplying these two numbers, 100 times the 114.75. Those are my cross products. Okay, so if I simplify this, another way to write this is 1,500n. And over here, if I multiply those, it's going to be 11475. Okay, so now to solve for n, if you remember, we always divide on both sides by the number that's in front of the variable. So we're dividing both sides by 1,500. Okay, so this divided by this is going to actually give us 7.65. I'm not quite sure why this extra box is there, so we'll ignore that. Okay, so n is equal to 7.65, and that's our final answer. So 7.65%, if you remember n is a percent out of 100, is being withheld for Social Security and Medicare. Okay, so Social Security is money that we are promised after we retire, or if we were to become disabled, we could use Social Security to pay for that. Medicare is a government-funded medical program, so we pay into that every time that we earn a paycheck so that we can have it when we're older and we're not working anymore. Okay, so that's one method for figuring it out. Here's another method that I think might even be a little bit easier than setting it up using proportions. But it's totally up to you. Which way makes sense to you, you can use that. Okay, so I can think of her amount that she pays being a fraction of her monthly income. So I can write that as a fraction, 114.75 out of the $1,500 that she earns. And I can just change that fraction into a percent, right? The way we've been doing it this whole chapter so far is to use division to change it to a decimal, and then just move the decimal to figure it out as a percent. So if I were to divide those, 114.75 divided by 1,500, I get 0.0765. And then to change that from a decimal, I can change that into a percent by just moving that decimal point 2 spots to the right. Okay, and that's another way to get that 7.65%, which I think is a lot less work than setting up a proportion. So a lot of times to solve a problem, if they have percents in them, usually when I have a percent, I'm going to have to multiply by an amount. But when I have two numbers and we're dealing with percents, a lot of times I can solve this by writing it as a fraction and then converting that to a percent. Okay, that's all I have for you today on applications of percents. So let me know if you have any questions.